What came first, the credit score or the credit report? Well, you cannot have a credit score without a credit report. I get it. Credit is a monster and can be difficult to understand, but it truly does not have to be. This episode of the Martini Mortgage Podcast is not just about credit reports and credit scores, it's about understanding them both and how they can impact you.
This is the Martini Mortgage Podcast with Kevin Martini.
Welcome. My name is Kevin Martini, and I'm not just the host of the Martini Mortgage Podcast. I'm also the branch manager and senior mortgage strategist with the Martini Mortgage Group at Benchmark Mortgage. And I'm recording this episode 91, from my downtown office in the capital city of North Carolina, which is Raleigh, North Carolina. Let me start by clearly communicating that a credit report and a credit score are not the same thing. In short, a credit report is a detailed report of your credit history, where a credit score is a numeric calculation of your repayment risk. So your credit score is not part of your credit report. But at a high level, it is important to understand if your credit score is created or generated by the information found on your credit report. But again, it's not part of your actual credit report itself. As I mentioned previously, a credit report is a detailed report of your credit history. Perhaps it would be best described as a summary of your credit history, which is reported to a credit repository by your creditors. The three major repositories, or bureaus if you prefer, or credit bureaus or credit agencies, are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. A credit report contains non-public private information on you, as well as information on things like your credit cards, your student loans, your mortgages, and auto loans, to name a few. It's important to note that your credit report is used in addition to your credit score to determine your credit worthiness for a home loan. Now, your information in your credit report is going to be the same regardless of the type of company that is previewing your credit. However, the credit score one has will depend on what type of company is previewing your credit and requesting a credit score. With that said, let me talk about credit scores. A credit score is a 3-digit number, generally between 300 to 850. For the record, the higher the score, the better the score. So 850 would be excellent, and 300 would be not just bad, it would be very, very bad. This 3-digit number is designed to represent the likelihood you will pay your bills timely. There are some major benchmarks, excuse the pun, used in calculating your credit score on the aggregate, and they are as follows, and not in any hierarchy of importance. Number 1 is the number of accounts that you have. Number 2 is the type of accounts you have. So in other words, installment loans such as a car loan, or are they revolving accounts like a credit card? Number 3 is your credit used versus the available credit. So in other words, when I'm saying available credit, I'm referring to if you have a credit card, your limit, and credit used would be defined as your balance. Number 4 is the length of your credit history. And number 5 is your payment history. Now, these 5 benchmarks are basically used by all 3 bureaus. Again, the 3 bureaus are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. One would think, and it would make complete sense if they would think, that all 3 credit bureaus would have the exact same score. Now, I've been in the financial services since the late 80s. And for the record, I'm still very young. I share this because I have previewed many credit reports, and I have never seen Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion have the exact same score. If this would happen, it would be like seeing a leprechaun riding a unicorn. It makes sense. I get it. However, you have to keep top of mind that not all creditors report to all three bureaus, and if they do, not at the same time. You heard me earlier that the number of accounts you have, the types of accounts you have, your credit versus your available credit, your length of credit history, and your payment history are the 5 benchmarks in calculating your credit score. Let me say it another way. These are the main factors that create your credit score. However, the factors or the importance of the factors shift based on who is pulling your credit score. The scoring model per credit agency is proprietary. And I believe that each of the credit repository has not just hundreds of models, but thousands of credit score models. And they have been many because each industry uses a unique model and may not use the 5 main factors, or may put more emphasis on one of the 5 factors versus the other 4. So let me give you kind of a real world example. Let's assume that you use one of those free credit services. You know, those ones that you go online and poof, you have a credit score. They are great, aren't they? However, the information they share is not accurate. They are designed to give you an idea of where you are. They are not designed to tell you exactly where you are. So, in other words, it would be like telling you what the weather is like. Is it cool? Is it cold? Is it warm? Is it hot? But it will not tell you the exact temperature. Why, you ask? Well, they can only give you a hint because they only use the major benchmarks and do not put any weighted factor on any of the type of accounts. Now, the credit model or the mortgage model that is used is the most unique. The industry standard with all lenders is version 5 of the classic FICO with Equifax, version 4 of the classic FICO with TransUnion, and version 2 of ISIC with Experian. The 5 major components of these models are your payment history, amount owed, length of credit, type of credit, and new credit. It's different from those 5 benchmarks that all credit scores are used for on the aggregate. So let me break it down. 35% of your credit score for the purpose of mortgage is based on your payment history. When I say payment history, the model looks at the number of accounts that are paid as agreed. It looks at public records and collections, delinquencies too. 30% of your credit score for the purpose of mortgage is based on what you owe. So how much you owe on an account and the type of account with balances, the number of zero balance accounts are considered, along with the balance to limit, especially on installment loans. 15% of your credit score for the purpose of mortgage is based on the length of credit. Not only does it take into consideration the total length of time based on the data from your credit report, it also looks at the time that has passed since your last transaction and when that account was originally opened. 10% of your credit score for the purpose of mortgage is based on the type of credit used. In other words, the number of credit accounts and types of credit accounts. Yes, a mixture of accounts from revolving to installment is important. 10% of your credit score for the purpose of mortgage is based on new credit. It looks at credit inquiries are considered. It also, the time that has passed since a recent inquiry, and if a new account has been established based on that inquiry. I feel it's so very important to share that your credit score does not define you. I have found that some very bad things have happened to some very good people, and because I believe that I proudly offer home loan programs with a low down payment if your credit score starts with a 5. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you have a 580 credit score, you can secure a mortgage with me or my business partner, Logan Martini, with only putting 3.5% down. Now, in the mortgage world, a score north of 740 is considered excellent. 739 to 680 is considered average. 679 to 660 is considered fair. And 659 to 620 is considered poor. Now, can you improve your credit? Yes, you can. How long does it take? Well, it really depends. I truly believe that if you're thinking about buying a home or if you're thinking of selling your current house, the first step is not to call a realtor. The first step is to call a mortgage strategist that can preview your credit with you, help with the repair if it's needed, and get you approved and give you price and cost clarity. Then you go find the house. In closing, I hope you found this episode of the Martini Mortgage Podcast about credit reports and credit scores helpful. Please consider sharing this episode with someone you care about that might benefit. If you need help with a home loan or have questions about the unique programs that either me or my fellow mortgage strategist, Logan Martini, offers, I invite you to give us a call at 919-238-4934. Hope you will call, and we look forward to help.
The Martini Mortgage Group makes real estate dreams a reality with trusted advice in a stress-free environment with great rates and on-time closings while providing a world-class experience. If you or someone you know has questions about the current mortgage rates or the current mortgage programs, please reach out to the Martini Mortgage Group at 919-238-4934. The information contained in this podcast presentation is for general product information purposes only. Arklatex Financial Services, LLC, NMLS number 2143, doing business as Benchmark Mortgage, makes no representations or warranties of any kind expressed or implied about the completeness, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the information, products, or services. All loans subject to borrower qualifying. Other restrictions may apply. Branch Manager Kevin Martini, NMLS number 143962. Branch located at 5650 Six Forks Road, Suite 101, Raleigh, North Carolina 27609. Contact the branch by calling 919-238-4934. Equal housing opportunity.